Hi there, thanks for watching and welcome back. Today we are on our fourth sixth grade standard from the Georgia Standards of Excellence for Mathematics. And for this section of the standards, we're going to summarize and describe distributions. So the standard is to display numerical data in plots on a number line, including dot plots or line plots, histograms, and box plots. So first we're going to make sure we understand what we need to do. So display numerical data. Numerical data is data that consists of numbers only. So we can collect data that is not necessarily numeric, and we'll talk about that later. But we're going to display numerical data in plots on a number line. And we know by now about the number line. So a number line just contains numbers, and we have different ways to do our number line, but we're going to talk about the three plots based on these numerical data plots on a number line. So we're about to get started with our first example. Okay, so for our first example, we're going to look at dot plots. So our context here is ice cream cones sold in a week in June. So we have 7 counts of the ice cream cones sold. So on the first day they sold 25, then the second day they sold 22, third day they sold 23, and so on and so forth. So what we need to do is plot this on a dot plot. So what we'll do is for every number that we have in our data, we will put a dot on our plot. And as you can see, we have a number line ranging from 21 to 27. So the first number we have is 25. So we'll put a dot for 25. Next we have 22. Next we have 23. Next we have 22 again. So as you can see, although it's not perfect, I'm trying to keep my first dots level. And then we see now that 22 has 2 so far. So now we're going to go to the next one, 25. Now 25 has another one. And I'm just putting that dot right on top of it. And 27. And then 24. So this is an example of a dot plot. It is helping us note which values we have as well as the frequency of those values. Our next set of plots is histograms. So for this example, our statistical question is how many chocolate chips are in 6 scoops of cookie dough ice cream. So our data is 15 chocolate chips in the first scoop, 23 chocolate chips in the second scoop, 36 in the third, and so on and so forth. So if you look at the histogram, if you compare it to our dot plot above, you can see that now we are not dealing with the individual values. We have these ranges that we call bins. And so we're going to put each data point, each value in its appropriate bin and create our histogram. So the height of that bin is going to increase for the number of scoops that we have with that number of chocolate chips. So let's look at our first number, 15. So 15 falls between 10 and 20. So that means we're going to increase our bin from 0 to 1. The next one is 23. So we're going to change that bin from 0 to 1. Now we have 36. So we change our next bin from 0 to 1. Then we have 18. 18 is between 10 to 20. So we're back to our first bin. So this bin is going to increase from 1 to 2. And then next we have 28. So 28 falls between 20 and 30. So this bin is going to increase from 1 to 2. And last but not least, we have 31. So our next bin is going to increase from 1 to 2. So if we count up our heights of our bins for our representing our numbers of scoops, we will see that we have 0 between 0 and 10. We have 2 between 10 and 20. We have 2 between 20 and 30, and we have 2 between 30 and 40, and 0 between 40 and 50. So if we add up 0 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 0, we get 6, which represents our 6 scoops of ice cream, and we can see that our histogram represents our entire data set. Last but not least, we are going to give an example of a box plot. So we have the number of private spa customers this week per day. That means that we have 7 amounts of customers, starting off with 2 on the first day, 2 on the second day, 3 on the third day, and so on and so forth. If you notice, these data are listed in ascending order from the least to the greatest number. And that is very important when coming up with a box plot, because in order to get your box plot, you have to use the 5-number summary, which we'll speak about in more detail later. But the key components of the box plot are the minimum, first quartile, second quartile or the median, the third quartile, and the maximum. So we're going to talk about those things a little bit, but we're just going to go ahead and plot the data. So we're going to start off by plotting the median, so our middle number, and that is actually a specific measure of center. So our median is 6, so we will have a line where 6 is, and for this process I'm just going to show you how to develop the box. So next we're going to apply our next line at our first quartile point. So that would be the median of the first set of data. So that would be 2. And then the second half of our data, the median of that is 7. So we're going to have a line at 7. These 3 numbers are going to create our box. So that's the box. And then we just have 2 more numbers that we need to plot, which are the minimum, and the minimum is 2. So I want to change my data for educational purposes. It won't change anything, but we're going to change this to 1. So we can plot 1 here. And then next we'll have 8, which is our maximum. And to signify these, we're going to put a line from our box. So we have our minimum, our maximum, we have Q1, the median, and Q3. All right, so thank you so much for watching this video. We hope to see you when you watch the next one. Thank you. Bye.